too strange that we are still feeling connected. So I propose that we embrace love, hope, and our affection. Nostalgia is crashing down for me.
I am not a king, I am not a god, I am Hunkpain.
What's poppin' Tano, and welcome. I hope you enjoyed the speedrun of Sevagoth Prime against level 9999. I try to do my best to deliver to my community the best stuff as fast as possible. Now, in this video I will show you everything you need to know about Sevagoth, starting from his abilities, to a build with his shadow, to a build without his shadow that we used for level Kappa. Let's start. And as always, we take beginners friendly approach for Thanos doesn't know anything about Sevagoth Prime or veterans trying to play with Sevagoth, starting with the passive that everybody hates about Sevagoth, and I hope when they do a Prime Warframe they fix this kind of stuff. And I hope DE one day decides this kind of passives we can toggle it on and off in specific frames like Inaros or Sevagoth, because it counters a lot something called Last Grasp in Uniru, which is really important for endgame players. Now, on death, become Sevagoth's shadow and fight to resurrect him by collecting the souls needed to rebuild his tombstone. Now, this doesn't scale really good, and unless DE decide to boost the shadow with 1 million damage or something like that, and then yeah, maybe at level cap you can revive yourself, but really doesn't scale well. Now, for the first time in my video's history, I want to start the abilities of the frame from the ultimate, so it makes sense for you guys. Okay, Exalted Shadow. Exalted Shadow, it's like an exalted weapon-ish. You're gonna become a Sevagoth in shadow form, as you can see there in the small video that they're showing. When Death Well fills, Death Well is like a bar in the right side, like Amber Bar or whatever. Okay, when it's filled, you are ready to release this shadow, and it deals impact, puncture, and slash. Now, so remember, you need to fill the Death Well. Simple as that. So you can summon your Exalted Shadow, and your Exalted Shadow have his own abilities. Keep that in mind. Now, Gloom. Everyone knows Gloom, and it's favorite Helmith ability for a lot of Thanos. That's why a lot of people struggle to farm the normal Sevagoth to give it to the Helmith. Now, summon a Radial Pulse Wave that ensnares and slow enemies, siphoning their life force for the Death Well. So you can summon the Exalted Shadow from your fourth ability. Allies within the wave steal health with each attack. So it gives you lifesteal and it slows enemy. But this ability is affected by two things: ability duration and ability range. Now, ability duration, because the ability starts small and expands, depends on how much duration you have. Now let's say you have so much duration and few range, it's just going to expand until a certain point. And if you have so much duration and small range, it's not gonna, so, but you don't want to have so much range, because you're going to be slowing enemies that you don't see, and they will take away from your energy per enemy is slow. So this ability will not keep constantly take away your energy, but it will be crazy taking away your energy when enemies inside the Gloom. So, the idea is always to have a decent amount of range and a lot of duration, so at least you keep the Gloom in your line of sight to make sure to kill enemies inside your Gloom, okay? Simple as that. Now, so, plant the Death Seed in nearby enemy targets to drain their life force, reap what has been sown to detonate afflicted enemies. So, when you have sow, it like there is like tentacles will come out like from these enemies, all right, and when they die, those souls will be harvested by the Death Well, so it will feel your Death Well as well. Now, this is a very amazing ability. As we get further in the video, we talk about the augment and all that kind of stuff. Now, so it's connected with Reap. Reap is the first ability. Sevagoth's shadow flies outward, ravaging enemies in his path. Survivors are damaged by Death's harvest over time. The souls of the dead fill the Death Well. Simple as that. And also, it will make enemies more vulnerable to your damage, and as well it will fill your death well. So this is his kit pretty much. So you want Gloom always to be active, so you can see where it is. That's your play with range and duration. When the well is full, you can summon your Exalted Shadow that we're gonna go in his kit right now. So you're gonna be planting Death Seed, all right, on nearby enemies, and when you send Reap, we're gonna be detonating them. And Reap is the shadow you send, making enemies more vulnerable to your damage. Let's go to the shadow abilities. And now the shadow doesn't have a passive because it shares the same passive from your Sevagoth. Embrace. Ghostly hands pull enemies into failing mass. That's why you need some range so you can pull enemies from a distance. Now, to be honest, shadow is really good, but it's not that awesome when it comes to high level enemies. I would say until enemies level 500 you'll be fine. Now, consume, dash through enemies and rip out their soul to heal shadow. Simple as that, with a lifesteal of 53%, depends on ability strength of course. Death harvest, inflict nearby enemies with a harrowing condition. As you can see, this is the death harvest that your first ability from your Sevagoth will cause, because he's the shadow, right? So this is the ability that the shadow will be using when you summon him, okay, with your first ability from Sevagoth, not the shadow, because he's too stuff. Urinite, so you go back to your Sevagoth and out. Simple as that. So now let me show you what this kit is about. Here we are. The first ability called Reap. There you go. You're sending your shadow, and as you can see, you're causing the death harvest, as you can see right there. Now, the second ability is Sow. You see the color has changed and they're taking damage over time. Alright, now Gloom, here we go, starts slow and then expands. If you pay attention, it will not leave my line of sight. It will be always here. Alright, so you can reach 95% of slowing the enemies, which is really good. We can play around that later on with the Archon shards and stuff like that. Now, when the well is full, so we need to activate the well, so we're going to use Stow and use the first ability. As you can see, this is level 225 heavy corrupted gunners, and we're actually killing them. And here we are on the shadow, and boom. So the shadow can pull enemies with the first ability, like you see, and the second ability you can dash through them and life steal. And then you got the third ability, it's like a pull in some sort. And then the fourth ability, Reunite, you go back to your Sevagoth. Simple as that. That's his kit. And now for the real deal, but before that I want to tell you that I did a video before about the 6 endgame builds for Sevagoth. You can just watch that video and copy which one you really want, but now I want to try something a bit different and more advanced than that video, but totally up to you. Alright, let's go. Sevagoth Prime, Brief Respite. On ability cast, squad converts 150% of energy spent to shields, while overshields are inactive. This is your way of staying alive, in the meaning of when you cast an ability you get shield, so you can shield gate. What is shield gate in Warframe? In any other game, if you get one shot 1 million, you die. No. In Warframe, you get shot 1 million, only your shield depletes, and then if you get one shot more damage, you will get hit on your HP. But if you manage to recover that shield, you will shield gate again. That's what you call shield gate. Is the time difference between the hit in your shield and the hit in your HP. I hope that explains it. Premature footed, if you want. If you don't have it or you don't want to use it, don't use it at all. This is just so enemies doesn't knock you down and kill you. That's the only reason you want to use this. Sevagoth is a bit squishy, to be honest, and have certain bugs where if you are in your operator, I feel he's always vulnerable and kicks you from operator and you're instantly death in your Sevagoth. Really tricky to play. Rolling guard on dodge, become invulnerable for 3 seconds to cleanse yourself from a lot of statue effects, or if you are in a bad situation. Catalyzing shields, it will reduce your shield to 74, but it will give you 1.33 seconds full shield gate immunity. You can reach 2.5 shield gate immunity if you push like I think 1300 or 1400. Let me know in the comments below. Shield and so on. Now, Transfer Fortitude for strength and minus duration, Primed Flow for energy max, Primed Continuity for duration, Intensify for strength, Shadow Haze now, Rip Augment, which is the first ability. Now, increase critical chance by 50% on enemies inflicted with Death Harvest. Now, when you throw the Shadow with the first ability, he will inflict enemies with Death Harvest, and those enemies that you attack that affected with Death Harvest, you're going to hit them with increased critical chance. A new shadow emerges from those enemies when they perish, means when they die. Limit of 3 shadows. You get the point here. It makes Sevagoth really awesome frame. And not only that, it's affected by ability strength. So it's not only 50%. The more strength you have, right here I have 106% increase of critical chance against those targets who are affected by Death Harvest. Now, Dark Propagation. Dark Propagation is the new augment that came with the Jade Shadows update for Sow Augment. Sow Augment is the second ability. Now what this does, enemies killed while inflicted with Sow spread its effect in a 15-meter radius, Shadow's Death Harvest also inflict so. So your Shadow will inflict it, when enemies die they will inflict it, and it gets really messy and really crazy. Now Arcane Energizer for energy, of course. Molt Augment to get more strength, as strength play a big role in here. As you can see here, Gloom only 74%, and you can push for 95% if you really want to. Up to you. Alright, now for your Shadow, there we go. Now go appearance instead of upgrade. Now Swift Momentum, 30% heavy attack wind speed. I think his heavy attacks is way better than his normal attacks. Kinda slow for me, but up to you. Preparation to spawn with 100% maximum energy. Rolling Guard, same thing. Catalyzing Shield, same thing. Stretch, Flow, Transfortitude, Intensify, Augur Reach, Continuity, Energize, and Strike, since we're gonna go for attack speed. Alright, now for his Shadow Claws, we're gonna be using Ravenous Wraith, Dreamer's Wrath to enable Tenukai. Tenukai is the new mode in Warframe. When you do attacks, a white sword will pop in the screen. When you perform a heavy attack with the mouse button, the wheel mouse button, all right, you're going to perform a heavy attack without any combo cost. And not only that, the Dreamer's Wrath will increase the chance for Tenukai to pop by 50% and critical damage by 32% for Tenukai attacks. Primary Pressure Point, Sacrificial Steel, Smite, Orikin, depends on the faction you're fighting. You want to switch it to Corpus, Grunir, and so on. Quickening for attack speed and combo chance. Organ Shatter for critical damage. Killing Blow, Spoil Strike, Berserker Fury, and so on. Gladiator set doesn't work here, but you can use it in your main melee weapon, and it will count for the claws. But directly on the claws, it doesn't work. Alright, now let's check how this exactly works. Now, what you want always Gloom to be active. Let's actually let them go. Okay, so they are not paused or anything. Okay, as you can see, enemies are slowed. My shield is gone. I can just use the first ability or second ability or whatever ability that I want, okay, to keep my shield gate on. Now I'm using Vazarin right now, so all I can do is just dash to my Warframe, and my Warframe is actually invulnerable for any damage. So the idea here, as long you have shield, you will not die. Now, when you die, like you just see right here, you can just kill those enemies, okay? And then you will revive yourself. But if you fail, you're actually going to die. Now, what happened there and why did I actually die? Of course, I was showing you how to play the guy and everything, but the main reason is because Gloom depleted all my energy, so I couldn't spam the first ability. But if there is no Gloom, they can keep hitting me and I keep, like, spamming the first ability, and that's what is shield gating. You see that? They attacking me, I'm returning my shield, and this is actually the gameplay you want to play. But now if I summon Gloom, and Gloom will start depleting my energy so bad because I'm not killing anything in here until I don't have energy anymore and I cannot do anything, and they will actually kill me. So that's why Vazarin will be playing, like, to actually kill those enemies with your weapons and whatever. Now when you see enemies are dead, you can see it's a bit more easier on your energy. That's a very good thing that you need to keep in mind, my friend. Okay, simple as that. So how actually you play him is really simple. You want to Gloom on, but at certain level. Okay, here we go. Activating Sow, activating Reap, and killing enemies as fast as possible. When the death well is active, you summon your guy and you start killing enemies. When he dies, don't worry about it. You can just go back to your Sevagoth and you will be fine. As you can see, Sevagoth is invulnerable. Right here, I am back and sowing them, sending my Shadow and killing them, and so on. Simple as that. Now, for the Archon shards, what Archon shards we're going to use? We're going to be using 2 Emerald Archon shards to armor strip enemies without relying on any Helmeth ability or any Focus Skull. So, using any weapon, we can armor strip enemies. Speaks of armor stripping enemies, we're talking about exactly Thrax Centurions. Here we go. Summoning some Thrax. Here. Boom. There you go. They're armor stripped. That's the whole point of everything. And yes, your Sow and your Shadow can actually kill Thrax Centurions level 225. This ability with this augments is really powerful and unstoppable, to be honest. Then you have here melee critical damage, you have here ability strength, and you have here casting speed. Casting speed I think is really nice to have. As you can see, I can summon the first ability in a way you feel actually the game is actually bugged. Look at that. It's unbelievably fast. Like, enemies will not be able to kill you as long as you have energy. Okay, now And you can see that got bugged in for a second in there. Okay, now I would say casting speed is a must here, and then you can run 2 strength. And if you're not going to use Emerald Darkon charts and you're going to use Uniro instead, you can just run full ability strength in there, simple as that. And now when we talk about the end game actual build that goes to level cap, alright? So same thing everywhere, no changes. We're just changing Arcane Precision in here for headshot, 300% damage for 18 seconds on secondary weapon. You want to switch, this depends on the weapon you're using. We're removing the Shadow. The Shadow sucks, to be honest, and still you will summon it when you die with your passive. No worry if you build it for the pure and then it's okay, it's still there, okay? So, Nourish in here for energy. Remember the energy issue I told you about? But you need to keep killing, always. Any enemy inside the gloom, you need to kill it, otherwise you're gonna face a big problem. Okay, so, also, you're gonna proc viral on enemies that hit you and you hit it. So, let's check how this actually works against some... for example, heavy corrupted gunners. Let's summon them. Level 225 Steel Path edition as always. There, how we're gonna do this. Alright, so glooming them, second ability, and boom. Call it demolishing them, destroying them, nuking them, vaporizing them. Up to you, whatever you wanna call this. But this is insane and really powerful, and you will love. And this can kill level cap. This damage, the damage from this ability can actually kill level cap because you can keep spamming that shit. Alright? You don't have to stop at any point. So, and by this we reach the end of the video. If you don't like my methods on proccing viral and armor stripping, it's okay. I prepared this sheet for you, so you can just follow it and take a picture of it, download it on your PC, and you're good to go. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the Sevagoth build, and before you suggest any ideas, make sure to check my previous Sevagoth build, 6 builds, different style, and so on. You may like one of them. Join our Discord link in the description. Don't forget to like, sub, and see you guys next time.
I am not a king, I am not a god, I am Hunkpain!